Now, here are some things that I'd like you to specifically be thinking about when building your $100,000 a year business, all right, your phase one business. Um, I do think it's a good idea to think about setting up a company. There's all sorts of good reasons around it. Most people talk about, liability and all that kind of stuff. And to be quite honest, I've never been a big believer in that. I think if somebody's going to come after you, which, by the way, nobody's going to come after you for this model. It's more if you're, building some sort of thing that could kill someone. Um, they're going to come after you anyway, regardless of whether you have a company or not, because it's just you or it's a small group. Maybe there's one or two of you. So anyway, I don't think it's a huge big deal for liability, but I do think it's helpful for organization. It's helpful just to feel like a real business. It's helpful for some accounting reasons, and again, not even so much for an advantage to taxes or accounting, but just to make things more clear and to be more organized. So it's certainly, and I mean absolutely, not required to start and even to build a $100,000 a year business. You do not even have to set up any kind of company. But it's not a bad idea, right? And we've got that information, that presentation that I gave that talks a little bit about different company structures and things like that, and might be valuable for you to take a look at that. It is also valuable for the same kind of reasons to set up accounting and talk to an accountant. Explain the business model, explain what you're going to be doing, kind of explain how you're going to, keep your accounting separate. And once again, this is absolutely not required to start. There's no law that says any business has to have a separate bank account or anything. You do have to keep records if you are running a business, but you don't have to have any kind of business entity. You don't have to have a separate bank account. But you do have to track everything, okay? So you should talk to an accountant for sure. But again, none of this is required to start. But you should just keep track of absolutely everything that you're doing in a journal of some kind, a log, a spreadsheet, whatever it is that you're comfortable with, because it's helpful for a lot of reasons, for organization reasons, for financial reasons, for analytical reasons later on to see what was working, what wasn't working, that kind of thing. So you should make it a practice to start tracking everything. I also recommend, and we're going to talk about this a little bit in the first training session that we have, but not long because we got to get to the meat of things. I would encourage you to make a real plan and like write it down and for reals, like seriously treat this like a serious business endeavor and write down your goals and track your goals. You're going to have action plans out of each session. You can just use those. But just do something, because when you write it down, it feels more real. And when it feels more real, it gets more done. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast, okay? The things that we look at, the things that we pay attention, that's what gets done, all right? We used to talk about in corporate, if it doesn't get measured, then it doesn't get fixed. It doesn't get worked on. If nobody's measuring it, if nobody's looking at it, then nothing happens. So make a plan, write stuff down. It just makes it more real. I think it's helpful to tell people your goals, not financial goals. I mean, I don't think you have to run around saying you're going to make $100,000 a year. But I think it's helpful to say, I'm trying to build my own business. And if people are confused as to what it is, this is not some crazy Ponzi scheme. This is an affiliate. This is affiliate marketing. There are companies that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars whose only revenue is from affiliate marketing. Mashable, Huffington Post, two good examples. And you can basically say, look, we leverage the traffic that comes to virtual real estate that we have in the form of websites into sales for other companies. I mean, that's what affiliate marketing at the end of the day is. And there's nothing to be, sort of cagey about that. It's a perfectly legitimate business enterprise. And I think to tell people that and to explain it keeps you accountable. And so if you told your family and your friends, I'm going to build a business, and then, for the next 8 weeks you didn't do anything, you might feel bad. So do that, because keeping you accountable is part of what we're concerned about and what we want to do. But on the plus side, on the other side of negative reinforcement, there's also the positive reinforcement. Support from family and friends is highly valuable, and it could be great. To have a supportive wife or friend or girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever form that takes. If they understand what you're trying to do, then you can probably get a lot more done, and you'll be a lot happier. I remember when I first left corporate America and was building my business. I mean, I spent a ton of time all alone, locked in my office, and my wife was very, very understanding, and so were my kids. They understood that this is something that I wanted to do, something I needed to do. I was an entrepreneur at heart. I was being strangled in corporate America, and I was, by hook or by crook, I was going to build my own business, and that's what I was doing. And they were very supportive. I think being optimistic is a very, very powerful trait for an entrepreneur and someone who's looking to build a $100,000 a year business. I think that almost all successful people that I know, they're pretty optimistic. Now, sometimes it can be a weakness because, you are unrealistically optimistic. But I've taken care of that for you. We've taken care of that for you, because I'm here to tell you that you are not unreasonably optimistic if you are optimistically expecting to build a six-figure business here with this training. So take that off the table. That part of the problem is gone. But optimism is good. You need to have a positive outlook because it just helps. If you can visualize what finished looks like, if you are positive that you're going to reach that mark, it is helpful. It can't do it all by itself. I can't just sit here and be very optimistic that I'm going to be an astronaut, because it ain't going to happen. However, I can be pretty optimistic that I can make enough money, perhaps, to sign on to Branson's, $200,000 seat astronaut thing, and that I could probably be optimistic about, right? So that's the difference, and I think it's really an important trait. The other thing is to think about what your weakness is. As you're building your business, you really need to take a step back. I mean, mine is details. I mean, I'm just not a detail guy. It's a struggle for me. I'm an idea guy. I'm a great brainstormer. I'm a really good starter. I come up with some really, really good ideas. But I'm not a great finisher, and so when I was all by myself, that was a huge weakness, and I had to mitigate that. I had to overcome it, and the way I did it was just writing everything down and forcing myself to agonize over, you must get this done today. Okay, you're going to have these action items that you got to get done, and you just need to do them if that's your weakness. All right, and the other way to mitigate your weakness is to find others to work with you who are stronger in those areas that you're weak. But oftentimes, everybody starts out by themselves, so it's harder to do that. However, maybe you do have someone that can help. Maybe your wife, maybe your girlfriend, maybe your kids. I know lots of internet marketers who, hell, my son works for our company. And I know lots of husband and wife teams, and I know lots of whole families, that work together, or friends that work together. It's not necessary. It's certainly not necessary for the 100K Factory. But you know what? It can actually be more fun. It really can be. So it's something to think about, particularly with the kinds of viral marketing that's going on with the 100K Factory. It's a lot of fun to have someone else to bounce ideas off of. It's tons of fun because you come up with some very interesting things, and they're just funny. So it's kind of amusing to, quote unquote, come to work for a few hours a week. And the other thing is, and you guys know that I feel very strongly about this, after you get through phase one, you might consider a partner. And, we've got some training in the resources section for that. But I firmly believe that once you reach a certain point, a partner is pretty important to scaling, or having some kind of help somehow, even if it's not, like an absolute formal partner. Anyway, these are my thoughts on, things to keep in mind and when building your business, and techniques and tactics to build the business that really apply to anything, but certainly apply to the 100K Factory. So keep these in mind as we're going through the training and you're building your business.